Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Lucid's Tournament Game 4, where we are playing Nazca. This is turn 44. Let's jump into things. Okay, so, a couple of big stuff. Big stuff? Couple of big stuff? Couple of big things going on. We have completed research Blood 4. Alright, cool. This is a little jaunt down Blood Lane, almost entirely for blood fecundity. Don't know that this is actually going to be super useful in the long run. I say in the long run, yes. It should be very useful for us. I just don't know that we're going to have a long run, right? So we'll see how this works out. Fingers crossed. Aside from that, we see Zelia the Muse has claimed the Throne of Misfortune. So thrones, Arcocephale claims the Throne of Misfortune. Cool. Game... This has actually been, I think, a pretty slow game for thrones being claimed. It has turned 44, and there are 5 thrones claimed. That's a lot of thrones unclaimed. I think part of it is that there have been a fair number of pretty gnarly thrones. And there's also been a fair amount of fighting that has left multiple, like, what's the term I'm looking for here? Inconclusive fighting, right? It's if you attack someone early on and you kick the shit out of them and you take all of their land and their capital, you tend to get very strong and then you're like, yeah, I can do a lot of things, right? If you attack someone and the two of you duke it out for 15 turns and you just bloody the shit out of each other repeatedly, a lot of times you're like, damn, I feel really weak right now. I don't have a lot of strength to take thrones on, right? You couple a lot of inconclusive fighting with a couple of pretty tough thrones. Multiple monolith thrones, some pretty interesting, like the centaur Vineman throne is pretty sketch, etc, etc. So there's a lot of thrones here that are somewhat challenging, or can be somewhat challenging to take. And what's ended up being is this kind of scenario where it's pretty late and there's still a lot of thrones uncapped. So yeah. Pretty interesting situation. Anyways, so the Throne of Misfortune Throne, don't really want that, but it does give you 4 pearls, so that's cool. And I think Arco's going the whole Pelagia play of a shit ton of Astral and potentially like Arcane Nexus. So 4 pearls is almost a stellar focus, so pretty nice. Alright, what else do we have going on? We've got some site searching. So we did Arcane Probing and Horospecs. Arcane Probing found nothing. Horospecs found a Tower of the Moon. And this is pretty neat. This is no gem. I will stand by my statement that I believe all sites should have a gem. And I believe all gem sites should have something else, right? Or almost all gem sites should have something else. I think having additional effects makes sites more interesting. I think this is actually one of the reasons why I like the DE mod, right? Dominions Enhanced, is because there's a lot of spruced up stuff in the sites, right? So there's a lot more sites that have, like this, I think Tower of the Moon actually has like an astral pearl or a nature gem attached to it in the DE mod, right? But this is interesting. This is a site where we can go and summon a dire wolf with the nature mage every single turn. And that's somewhat cool. We have nature mages. We have some not super good nature mages, actually, that we have like 2 or 3 of. Maybe not that many. Maybe we have 1 or 2 of. We could totally just go throw a nature mage here and summon a dire wolf every single turn. And much like the wolves, it's probably not going to matter that much to us in the long-term concept of the game. But, it's fun. I like doing things like this. I think it's neat, so we're probably going to do it. Sorry, site searching Tower of the Moon. Did that. And then I think this is actually something that I wanted to. Sorry, I was clicked off. This is something that I wanted to cover. We did Riches from Beneath. Global was cast successfully, and we actually got about, what was it? I think we actually got about 380 or so increased income this turn. And some of that is from the stuff that we have taken. I say some of that. A fair amount of it is from the stuff that we have taken, right? But also a lot of it is, I think we got about 200 or so gold from Riches from Beneath this turn. But I think we can, like I kind of explained last turn, I think we can absolutely grow that if we start preaching, which we are starting to preach, and pushing out our Dominion and getting, you know, kind of like lucky with some of the sites that we find. So fingers crossed there. We need the money really bad. So we got a lot of battles. Let's do our normal shtick. We'll go through all our battles and watch all the others. We were attacked in Old Man Mountains by Vanheim. So Vanheim and I have been kind of like coordinating back and forth on where Van's going to be raiding, where I'm going to be counter raiding, where I'm going to actually be attacking, etc., etc. We've been doing that for several turns now. Our communication is starting to falter because I kind of feel like I can see Van growing tired of this situation, but I need this to continue for a little while because I need people to suspect me of nothing, or suspect of me nothing. But yeah, I think Van's kind of in the concept of like, I'm not gonna do more than raid you with like one stack. Like, so this is basically our raiding party. If something were to happen to these guys, I do not think Van would replace them. So it's a pretty interesting situation. So we lose in Old Man Mountains. We attacked in Olifa, and this is gonna be, you know what? Yeah, we'll go ahead and do this. We attack in Olifa, and this is the big one for the turn, really. This in Blackport. So we have a big old horde here, right? We've got a bunch of Strength of Giants coming up. We've got some Flame Ward coming up. Obviously, we have our Blessing coming up. But other than that, there's not much. We've got some Horde of Skeletons just kind of like chaff it up if we need to. We outnumber the enemy drastically. And that's great. We really need to. We've got fire resistance. We're going to have fire resistance on basically everything, along with some flame ward. So we should be immune to these fire flares, right? And to the heat aura. We should be immune to this Drake fire, or very close, right? And we should be immune to basically any of the fire elementals that this Netter of Kings throws out. That being said, there's still a shit ton of heavy cav here. There's still a bunch of claymen here that can absolutely smack some of our burbs around. So, I am optimistic about this. Otherwise, I would not have taken it. But I do feel like there is still some shit that could go wrong for us. So, we've got most of our stuff on hold, but I do intentionally have some of our people moving forward to try to make sure that we don't get just horribly murked. Earthquake goes off. Let's check. Don't expect it to really have done much to... we did a little bit of damage here or there with some of those. A couple of horsies got a little hurt. A couple of these militia are fairly injured. A couple of these... Actually, the claymen got pretty tore up. That's pretty interesting. So yeah, that's about what we kind of expected, right? Not a lot of just out-and-out death to the earthquake, but just wounds, pain here or there, right? Ooh, that's somewhat scary. We've got a whole bunch of knights in front of us, and not a very big line of defense. Some of the stuff's gonna fall down on the knights, though, undoubtedly. So we've got just Drake fire coming in droves against these Supayas, and they have fire resistance 10. They do not have the benefit of the flame wards, so they are kind of getting murked. Bunch of birds on the knights, that's good. Bunch of birds on this Netter of Kings, which is good, because I want this guy down sooner rather than later. And it looks like, ooh, a mixture in the middle. The mixture in the middle is probably not great, because those guys are less supported. They're going to die. Netter of Kings died pretty much instantaneously, which is nice, which means we get more support on this back line. This definitely looks like a win for us. Now it's just a matter of how much is it costing us. Hopefully not too much, honestly. Doesn't look like too much. Like, we still look like we have the majority of our people here. Pretty cool, pretty cool. All right. Nope. Olifa. Yeah, absolutely that was fine, right? Lost 6 Condors, 1 Condor Warrior, 3 Hatenruna, 8 Sun Guard, 5 Supaya, 23 losses. I will say, I am glad we committed to bringing so much here. Had we brought, 100 less, had we been closer to the 225 mark that was here, this, I think we still probably would have won, right? But I do think it would have cost us way, way more, right? Like, I could see the losses, if we brought like 250 units, I could see the losses being upwards of like, 100 or so, as it would have just taken us longer to kill the things that we were dealing with. And I think that would have been a really big problem, right? Like, these heavy cav, right? 18 kills. Fire Drakes, 24 kills. Like, that's a fucking thing and a half. I will actually say, like, the amount that they killed, I'm assuming part of that is a mix of skeletons and earth elementals. Like, the little baby earth elementals probably got during all of that. But yeah, anyways, big deal. Very, very happy that this went super well for us. And we even got a little rawhide shield. We will take a look at what lies in store for us in Olifa in just a few. We attacked into Nifl. This is just raiding back and forth. Let's see if anything bad happens. There aren't even any archers in this one. Uh-oh. Okay. I was like, oh, please no. Could have gone bad, but it did not. So we went in Nifl, and then we attack in Blackport, and we do see there is a bump. So we attack with a big stack of Hatenruna. There's really just this mage left, and we are on immediately attack, right? And we're able to pop that lich, so that's good. We still lost 16 Hatenruna. If Pelagia sent any real amount of stuff, we are just fucked. And they did. They sent an actual army. It's a small army, but it is an army of it is an army backed up by actual mages. We've got nothing. This is totally gonna be just them killing us, but we get to see kind of what's going on with them. Got some poison ward, power of the spheres going up, and we land all around. Are we going to snipe that guy? Ooh, that would be cool. Oh, we have half of our stuff. Oh, well, that's not great. We might not even get the other people to land. Or, ooh, we sniped a mage back here. Maybe we'll get some more. Come on, kill this Hecatoride. No. I don't even know why I'm just like, yeah, do the stuff, but it's whatever. Okay, so we obviously absolutely lost there. Our Huron priest did successfully retreat, so that's nice. We killed 16 wave warriors, which is kind of whatever. We did actually kill an adept of the Iron Order. That's pretty nice. Actually, where did he get Adepts of the Iron Order from? Hold up. Does he have... Did he have the Iron Throne? I guess I don't remember. I'm guessing he had the Iron Throne for a while and then got pushed off of it. Is that what's here? There's one there. No one's had Obelshin. I don't know. Interesting. Okay, well. So taking an Adept of the Iron Order is no, no simple thing. So happy to have taken that out, and especially if Pelagia can't replace that, because that's a pretty big deal. I don't think Pelagia has access to a whole bunch of Earth, especially not Astral Earth. So these Daducos do have Earth and Astral, but they can't get Earth and Astral. The Triton Kings do have Astral, obviously. It's the Earth Astral that I'm looking for. Earth Astral, but not both. One Earth. Okay, so the Pelagian Mystics can get Earth Astral, but it's only Earth 1, Astral 1. Which, I mean, that's still Earth Astral, but it's not Earth 2, Astral 2, which is way easier to climb up than Earth 1, Astral 1. So, but not a huge deal. So that's interesting. And that brings our battles up to Battles versus Indies, 2 wins and 0 losses. Battles versus Vanheim, 1 win and 1 loss. And then Battles versus Pelagia, 0 wins and 1 loss. So, cool. Fun stuff. Fun battles for the turn for me, at least. I am excited to see where this stuff leads us. We've got some unexpected events. We have a rebirth event continuing to fire in Royal Green because our Dominion is not there. And then in Mark, some unnecessary laws have been abolished, and we gain turmoil and unrest. This event always, every time I see it, it always makes me laugh because the way it's phrased makes it sound like it's a good thing, but it is a wholly negative event, right? Some unnecessary laws have been abolished, right? So it makes it sound like, that's good, you abolished unnecessary laws. Cool. Those laws are unnecessary. Abolishing them should be a good thing. But I think they mean it's like, those laws are unnecessary. We've gotten rid of them. Type scenario. And I'm like, oh, hold up. That's bad. So, yeah. Events for the turn, 1 negative and 1 positive. It's always, we've got luck 3, so we are the vast majority of the time we're getting positive events. It's always interesting to see what that random negative event is. So, 1 negative, 1 positive. In Mark, we gained Turmoil +3, which really doesn't matter for us. We already have Turmoil +3. But we also gained 11 Unrest, which is boo, and then Royal Green, the population increased by 260, and the income increased by 1. So, cool. Fun stuff. Alright. What else do we have? A little bit of patrolling, and that's that. Let's talk about, before we discuss movements and what we're doing and everything like that, let's see, since we didn't scry, and I've been talking about this for a while, that I probably should have just scried on these, especially, like, if this is the Throne of Gaia over here, and I just never found out because I didn't scry, I should kick myself in the face, because I should have been gunning for this for the longest time, right? We found, within Olifa, the Throne of Water. Hold up. Hold the fucking phone. Okay, now obviously, in my wildest dreams, I would have been like, the Throne of Gaia is the best thing that we could get, right? And honestly, the Throne of Gaia might have been the best thing that we could get because we'd actually have some scaling. It'd be very, very late to kick off that scaling, but hey, it's better late than never, right? But if we're not getting something like the Throne of Gaia, the Throne of Water might be the best that we could get. This is a pretty big deal. One, it's a fair amount of water income, which we don't really have right now. That's nice. Cool. Whatever. Water income doesn't really do a whole lot for you if you don't have something to use it with. Yeah, well, the Throne of Water gives you Hydromancers. And Hydromancers are awesome. They are really nice. They are expensive, 120 gold per year, right? But they're a base 3 water, right? A base 3 water is very strong, and they're naturally amphibious, right? This could be the impetus for us going underwater. If we could have 15, 20 Hydromancers, we could fight, right? Because, like, the idea of, oh, underwater, it always comes down to who has the most water elemental casters. Well, the thing about having the most water elemental casters is this is a 3-cap Pelagia. Obviously, they're going to have more water elemental casters than us. But are they going to have all of those water elemental casters in the same place? No, they're not. And if they wait, right, wait to consolidate their forces to where they have more, then we might already take like a big chunk out of them. So that's a pretty interesting kind of concept, right? So the Hydromancers is just on their own is a really big deal. This is going to allow us to have mages that are, one, going to be able to site search for water and potentially break us into utilizing water for things, which is cool, right? That's just neat on itself. This gives us a mage that can potentially help us fight against Pelagia on Pelagia's turf. Really fucking cool. Very, very easily turned into a Water 4 mage, by the way, right? Which is amazing. A Water 4 mage is fantastic. That's a living water caster in a can, just spamming out water elementals. It's so nice. Really, really cool. But to top it all off, defense skill +3 is a huge, huge boon to us. Defense skill 3, that's a +5 defense on all of our sacreds. For something like a Supaya, ignore one of these defense pips because, or ignore this experience pip because the defense would be base 16, right? But defense 16 is a 21 defense skill unit, 21 flying defense skill unit. That's no joke. Topping it off, though, don't ignore the defense or the experience, right? We have the Ancient Master. If we can set up a experience factory in Set Randith, we could actually start, because with the Ancient Master, it's trivial to get up to 1, 2, 3 pips, right? I think it's 12 turns. That might not be right. It's either 11 or 12 turns to get to 100 from no experience to 100 experience, right? And 100 experience is 3 pips. You get 1 defense for every pip, right? So if we have Supayas that have a base of 16 defense, +5 from our bless, right? Putting us up to 21, and then +3 from experience, 24 defense Supayas are going to be incredibly difficult to kill. Plus, not to mention, I mean, that's just the defense, right? Like, we're getting other things from having experience, like higher attack, higher morale, I believe. is what you get, right? So that's a big deal. That's a really, really, really big deal. I think maybe the only other thing on this list, aside from obviously we want the Throne of Gaia. Giving us growth is such a big deal. But the Throne of Water and I think probably the Throne of Fire for the increased attack skill are probably the best like base stat increases that we can get. The Throne of Earth gives reinvigoration, which is nice, but that doesn't matter as much for our sacreds. It's nice, it's still good, but it doesn't matter as much for our sacreds. And Throne of Air giving air shield would be really cool, but we're at the point to where we can put up arrow fend anyways, so it doesn't matter as much. And we don't care as much about air magic, right? Or about earth nature magic, right? So getting the Throne of and fire, sorry, we also don't care as much about fire, right? Getting a Fire 3 mage in a can would still be really, really nice, don't get me wrong. But we do have Fire 2 mages, so we can kind of make our fire work. Fire 3 would be better, obviously. But we have no water. So getting access to a Water 3 mage, getting one of the best stat boosters that we can get, this is awesome. This is awesome. And it's awesome. And it's so awesome that I've gushed about it for 10 minutes. So, really, really, really cool. Very excited to get the Throne of Water. Now, let's talk about what we're actually doing. We are going to start trying to figure out what can we do about Forgotten Woods. But we can see there's a big old stack of Wave Warriors here. So we are going to make sure we don't lose Olifa to Pelagia. We are reinforcing Olifa with these Cynocephalian warriors, right? We are moving out some of our Incas just to go do other things. But aside from that, we are leaving everyone else here to defend this throne. We're doing a lot of site searching. We're claiming the throne. We're putting up buildings this turn, right? Immediately putting up a palisade and a lab in here so we can try to make sure we have gems and we can try to have a fort on this location as quickly as possible, right? And we're just going to have to sit here for several turns until we've got this all defended so that, because Pelagia might be like, okay, now's the time. Go. Take this from Nazca. And we've got to be able to defend it as best we can. I don't know. I would assume that Pelagia's not going to throw themselves at me at this point. If they attacked me in a war, they would win. Absolutely, right? But it would take them several turns to go over the course of the whole map, right? And if they attacked me in one location with all of their forces versus all of my forces, obviously they would win. But they're huge, and they're doing multiple things over the course of their empire. They are not attacking me with everything that they have. But this is basically everything that I have, right? Like, this is the vast majority of the military might that I have, and it's backed up by a fair amount of mages, right? So I don't think Pelagia is going to come after me, but I think if we do not defend this, I absolutely think they are going to come after this. So this is kind of unfortunate because it means I can't just immediately move this stack down to Forgotten Woods. Not that I think that I would want to necessarily. I don't think that attacking Forgotten Woods in the same way is going to do the same thing for us. I think we actually might lose if we do that. But we will see how it all turns out. So, what are we doing aside from that? We're attacking Vanheim and Thorn Woods. Yet again, another place that we're just trying to get more territory out of. I would really like to take the Desert of Visions, but I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. And then aside from that, we're just kind of like moving things around into various locations. We are sending a Pakwo of the Mountain Spirits out to start summoning direwolves and do that for the rest of forever. Probably we will never use those direwolves. I'm still a sucker for doing it. Like, I am absolutely still a sucker for doing that. How much? This guy has 3 research. He is a bringer of fortune, though. He could bring... I've thought about, by the way, the idea of like, almost doing the Firebirds thing with Nazca, like playing Scales Nazca, and then having a province where you just put Pakwa of the Mountain Spirits in that province every single turn, until you turn 50, 60, 70, you have so many of these Bringer of Fortunes that it almost acts as Firebirds. I want to do that. I want to test that so badly. I just don't think it's going to work the way that I hope it will. And I just don't think, one, I barely got to play Nazca at all, and I immediately got fearmongered into the ground. I don't think you can play Scales Nazca and not get fearmongered into the ground and die when you're Scales Nazca, right? Like, I might be wrong. I'm sure it can be done, but I don't know that this would be the cause, like the reason to do it anyways. But it keeps tickling the back of my mind, and I'm like, ooh, I want to try that. I'm pretty sure you just dom kill yourself, though, because of Heretic, you know? Like, anyways. I guess you can't... Heretic doesn't... Heretic only works in the province that you're in, though, right? So you can't Heretic dom kill yourself unless you're Hereticing every single province. I don't know about that. That one's sus to me. But I may or may not try to do some single play stuff. Anyways, moving on. What else do we got happening? I think that's really it as far as like actual movement and interesting situations. So we'll just move on to actual recruits. Or mechanical information. We have no recruits this turn because all of our money went into a palisade and a lab immediately, right? We potentially didn't have to do the lab. That was very strange. Did you know? Anybody who used Streamlabs, did you know? So I use this is gonna be funny. I use Streamlabs to stream, obviously, right? But I also use Streamlabs to just record videos. If you get a follow or a sub or something like that, and you have notifications for your Streamlabs or your stream, if you have Streamlabs open, it doesn't matter if you are live or not. Streamlabs will still give you that notification. So, I just got a notification for a follow while I'm offline. Sorry about that. Surprised the shit out of me. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, I probably did not need to build a lab this turn, but I really wanted to be able to reinforce myself with gems or items or what have you, just in case, right? So... that's why this is here. Also, the other scenario is a lot of these mages are probably going to be here for several turns while we defend this province, and I would rather them be able to research, right? Like, this is a sizable amount of research here that we could be getting every single turn. That's why I went for a lab immediately, right? Palisade lab, and therefore no recruitment because we don't have the fucking money for it. So, there's that. We do, however, have our regular recruits. So, Nazcan recruits, we have 39 Hudson Runa, 21 Long Dead, and 2 Supayas. So, we are slowly but surely increasing that number of Long Dead going up every turn. I am very excited about that. If we... Yeah. Perfect world, right? Things work out in this war with Vanheim. Vanheim goes down, or I guess maybe there's a world where it's okay if Vanheim doesn't go down. The point being is we grow out of it, we get territory out of it, we're allowed to build up for a while. we start putting down roots in a couple of locations, some more forts in a couple of locations, and we start to produce, 50, 75, 100 long dead every single turn, that matters. That matters, and eventually we get to the point to where, okay, it's long dead, sure, but long dead can be a lot of siege chat, right? Long dead can be a defensive barrier for your mages, right? Like, long dead absolutely can matter. Long dead doesn't die easily to something like Murdering Winter, right? Long dead does die super easy to stuff like Flames from the Sky. But Flames from the Sky can only hit so many targets, I think, right? So, like, if it hits a long dead target, cool, great, fine, whatever, you know? It matters, right? Like, our ability to produce a shit ton of long dead matters. If we can get up to the point to where we have a lot of long dead production and a fair amount of supplier production, and our astral income goes well, and we're getting huakas every turn, we might be able to turn this into something. So pretty excited about that. Next up, special recruits. Still recruiting wolves, so 3 more wolves. I think we're gonna be able to add to this next turn. I'm so excited. We're gonna be able to add dire wolves into the mix. And that'll be pretty neat. So, got that going on. What else do we have? We have rituals for the turn. Rituals. 1 arcane probing, 1 haruspex, 1 dark knowledge. And we have a blood fecundity going up for 40 turns. So we are casting, or we're using 50 blood slaves. It's 10 for the base spell, and then 1 per turn. So we're going to put this is our gamble. We're going to put a 40 turn blood fecundity up. The idea that we are going to make it to turn 85. And at growth 2, we're probably going to be looking at like 35,000 population at that point. Maybe 40,000 population at that point. But it is a slight boost to income. It's also, this is going to be something to keep in mind, it's also a slight boost because I believe your recruitment points are based off of the size of the province, right? So as our population increases, we might actually slowly but surely increase our recruitment points as well. And we are somewhat recruitment point limited when it comes to things like Sun Guard, right? Because these guys cost a lot of recruitment points. If we could get, for example, I don't think, I'm gonna cancel this real quick. So we've got 6 holy points. Yeah, we can't get this 6th Sun Guard, right? Which we normally wouldn't be able to get anyways because we'd normally be recruiting a sacred mage, right? But if we get more temples up, we could totally get to the point to where we get 6 Sun Guards. This could be a way that we eke out a few more Sun Guards here or there. And is it going to matter 1 per turn? It might in the long run, right? Like, 1 per turn is still 10 over the course of 10 turns, 20 over the course of 20 turns, right? An extra 20 Sun Guard might matter in a battle somewhere. Absolutely. So, anyways, canceling all that out. Again, this doesn't matter, but because this is the turn. This is a turn loaded up in single player, not in the actual game, so... but I like to leave it set. I'm weird. Anyways, so that's rituals for the turn. Oh, I didn't shit. I didn't fucking actually type this shit out. So we got blood fecundity going down. I'm pretty excited about that. Olifa is also a relatively large province. It is the largest province that we have aside from our capital. It's also a coast. I am probably going to look at trade winding and blood fecundity Olifa as well, although it's going to take some time to get enough blood slaves up to do it for a long period of time. But this is definitely something that I think we're going to look into. I don't know that we're going to do it immediately, right? But it is probably something that I want to do sooner rather than later. Grow this income, etc., etc. So I'm hoping. Typically, throne provinces have more gem sites more sites period than other provinces do. I'm really hoping with this site searching. We're site searching with just one person. Oh yeah, we need to site search air here too. No, we're site searching with both. Okay, so that was the plan. I'm really hoping that we find like a mine or something like that here, because if we found another mine, like if we found another gold mine here, this province would be worth so much to us, so incredibly much to us. But that might be a pipe dream. Anyways, I have been talking for a very long time. This has been a very interesting series of turns for us. I'm trying to get more scouts into the Jotunheim, Vanheim conflict area. And we can see there is a big ol' army next to Ashdod. I'm hoping Ulm is going to deal with Ashdod sooner rather than later. And I'm hoping what that means is if Ashdod deals with, or if Ulm deals with Ashdod sooner rather than later, they then turn their eyes towards Van, right? Because so far, I still don't see any real activity between Van and Ulm. There are a couple of provinces. I did notice, like, between last turn and this turn, there are a couple provinces that I think Vanheim is raiding in, and Ulm is counter-raiding. But I don't know if it's Van actually fighting against Ulm, and Ulm counter-raiding, but focusing his attention on Ashdod, and then he'll turn his attention to Van, or if it's an agreement like I have, that type of scenario. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Fingers crossed for Jotunheim, which Jotunheim, by the way, has been reporting. One of the reasons why I want to get more scouts in to watch things is Jotunheim's been reporting some nice victories. Jotunheim has some cool stuff going on. They've got some good. We've seen a couple of good fights already. Nothing super big, but they're not just getting bowled over, right? So if only they were getting some support from either of their two allies. Fuck. I feel so bad about this. I still think it's the right call. I think it's the right decision, especially for me. I don't know about for Ulm, but absolutely I think this was the right decision for me. I just don't feel good about it. So, all right, that's going to be the end of this video. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.